Hello and welcome to Road to GotY 2019 for Kingdom Hearts 3, a game that I really enjoyed, though I do have quite a few problems with it. And this video will have spoilers. I didn't realize how much this menu screen was going to get me again with this music, but it absolutely did. Man, I really liked the story in this game, like a lot. I just wish that the Disney worlds had been better, because yeah, I'm feeling it now. The wave of feelings is just hitting me. Also, yeah, this whole phone thing with Sora just really doesn't go anywhere, which is a shame because there could have been some really cool stuff done with it. Mostly it's just story catch up, which also could have been cool if it had been a little bit more intensive, or like you could get full beats, like it changed as the loading screens went on. Like many games this year, it also had a problem with loading screens. Though once you get in the game, there are very few of them. Then you don't have much. You have a little bit of stutter every once in a while, but put the audio back a little bit. I think I'm on New Game Plus right now in Mount Olympus. Yeah, I still have all my stuff. Yeah, I guess let's just get into the issues, right? Because I do think this is a really fun game. I think it's absolutely worth playing. Biggest issues, the Disney worlds. The Disney worlds just, and you can go back and watch my full review of the game if you'd like to get full context on everything. But the Disney worlds are just like, most of them are just complete retellings of the original story with no changes that include Sora in the way that the previous games have done. It's really, really annoying when you have just the plot of Frozen with no changes. Because that's not what, sure, we'll do this. That's not what Kingdom Hearts normally does. Normally, it's the story of it, and then you interact with it and change it. But so much of, like, Frozen, or, Frozen's, like, the big one that stands out to me every time. But even, like, Tangled, you interact with the characters, but you don't change the story at all. So it doesn't really feel like you're interacting with them in any way. You're just kind of there, you know? Oh, it's been a while. Okay. It's been since start of the year, basically. I beat this right after it came out. I think there's a weird thing to be... This is not the place for this discussion, but I think there's a weird thing to be said for crunch, where when you play a bunch of games in rapid succession from each other, it can very much affect your ability to play other games as well as you normally would. And that's a weird thing to say, you know? But I definitely feel it. Because I don't remember any of the moves, really. That's okay, we'll get it. But, like, in the previous games, you actually had an effect on the world in those stories as you got through the different things in them. Whereas, in this one, it's more of like, hey, just Sora's here. Sora's doing things, you know? And it's really unfortunate, because, again, it didn't have to be that way. But it is. Man, I do really enjoy the combat in this game, though. It's a lot of fun. These guys are hitting hard. Could be because New Game Plus. We can switch keyblades, too. I just think it's really weird to just... And not just play Frozen again. Like, as if it was the first time you'd ever seen it. But also, and maybe it is for some people, but also to play the music from Frozen as if it was the first time you've ever seen it. Like, Elsa's song, Let It Go, is just completely in the game. It's just the full song. And it's just so strange to me to have the entire song in the game. I don't know if maybe that was a Disney thing, where Disney had to have the whole song in there, or if that was something that Nomura wanted, or like what was going on there, but it's just so incredibly strange to me. Then you have worlds like Toy Story, where it's a new story, and it's really cool. It's a good story, but it drags on forever, it feels like, as you climb up that toy store. And then you have worlds like Big Hero 6, which is really good. That's a really fun world, because it doesn't take very long. It's pretty short. You have the pure openness of it all, and you get to high-wind it up. You get to just explore the city and fight a bunch of different cool encounters on the way, you know? I just think they did a really good job on some worlds, and I think some worlds are just really, like, not satisfying at all. I think that Hercules' world is fine. It's like the 5th time we've been here, but at the same time, I like this world. Olympus is great. I'm not gonna throw a fit about it, you know? Past the actual worlds themselves, I think that the fights are pretty good. I think that, like, Monsters, Inc. or Frozen or Tangled, like those boss fights, you just fight heartless versions of the bosses instead of the bosses themselves from the series, which is kind of unfortunate because I miss some of the old school boss fights. I liked those boss fights quite a bit, you know? But at the same time, they were still fun boss fights, so I mean, this really torn spot with KH3, where it definitely is not going to be in my top 10, but I still really enjoyed it, you know? It just isn't what I wanted out of KH3 when it comes to the Disney worlds. Now, when you get into the Kingdom Hearts story, the Kingdom Hearts story itself, it's really, really good. And it does exactly what I wanted there. It resolves a bunch, it doesn't resolve everything, but it resolves a bunch of stuff that I really didn't think it would resolve when it comes to the actual Kingdom Hearts characters. And that final 3-hour rush, maybe 5-hour rush, depending on how quickly you burn through it, is maybe my favorite section of the entire game. It's just so good. As you work your way through all of the individual fights, or I say individual fights, the team fights, you get through everything with the Keyblade Graveyard and everything going on there. You Roxas and Xion and solve all the long-standing issues there, and with Terra and Ventus, and it's really good. It's just unfortunate that you kind of have to push through to get there, you know, in some ways. Especially because up until that point, it's kind of just Sora going around the Disney worlds hoping to find the thing he needs, and then he just finds it, you know? And it's like, okay, sure, I guess. Do a bash. Let's just go ahead and finish Trinity Guard. There we go. I do still miss the other forms, too, like a lot. Not being able to switch into like a Valor form is really unfortunate from KH2, but they also weren't in most of the side games, so I get it. I think gummy ships were done better than they've ever been done before. I think they're really, really good in this game. Being able to like switch between Keyblades and stack your buffs, like this one's still in High Wind form, is really good. I think they did a really good job with the combat in this game. It's pretty easy on the basic difficulty, but as you get into like the critical mode that was added later, it's actually really good. And as you can see here, we're taking quite a beating on New Game Plus. But I do think it's a really good game, and I think it's definitely worth playing, especially if you're a fan of Kingdom Hearts. I think you have to play it. I just don't think that it's as good as KH2 by far. I think if I could have KH2 and then the last 5 hours of Kingdom Hearts 3, I would have actually been maybe more happy. And that sounds terrible, because like I really like what they did with the story, but I just really didn't enjoy the Disney worlds as much this time. Even the ones that were fun, like Toy Story or Big Hero 6, or even like to a point Monsters Inc., even though it drug on for way too long. They were just bogged down. And it's just unfortunate, because it didn't have to be that way. Like, the Disney worlds of, like, say, Beauty and the Beast, that's not bogged down at all. Even, like, with the music stuff with Ariel, that's fine, you know? But it is what it is, you know? You can't change it. So we have to judge it based on what we have, not on what we wanted it to be. Secret data. Read it on the gummy phone. What is that secret data, I wonder? On the gummy phone. Read it on the gummy phone. Oh wait, does it just stay now? Yeah, it does. Okay, but it's complete. Alright. What's the gummy phone have to say about it? Am I alive? I awoke in a cell, alone, until the researchers came with their tests and their prodding to uncover my identity. I had no answer to offer them. 4 friends and a key. That is the sum total of my memory. I could not even recall my name. I was simply called X there. My only solace was the time I spent talking with the 2 boys who would visit from time to time. One day a man came to take me from the prison. I could not see him for the darkness, save that he wore an eye patch. Even now, years on, I feel no closer to understanding who or what I am. May my heart be my guiding key. Cool. Yeah, it's just like, there's so much to love about this game, and then so much that just doesn't work for me, you know? There's so much to love here. Again, let's break it down here. The opening, pretty good. Olympus, not bad at all. I think that, again, we've been to Olympus many times, but I like Olympus, so I'm not going to complain. Twilight Town? Twilight Town is a huge sticking point for me, because you can't explore Twilight Town. You get the briefest part of the town, and then you get the forest. And you just can't explore the rest, and I want to explore the rest. I want to go to all the places I remember from KH2, and from 358 over 2 days. Let me explore Twilight Town. Come on. Toy Box, pretty good. Again, drags on a little bit, but still a lot, really enjoyable. Kingdom of Corona? It's fine. I mean, Tangled, they do a good job. I'll put it that way. They do a good job telling the Tangled story without any big changes introduced by Sora in the cast. And it makes you think there's gonna be, because Sora spends a lot of time with Flynn, and then with Rapunzel, and, like, you get the feeling that there's gonna be some differences, and there's just not. There's just not any differences. Monstropolis is really cool, set after the end of Monsters, Inc. Again, if it weren't so long, if it didn't drag on for so long, it would have been a really, really good level, I think. And I still would have liked to fight actual villain instead of the bad monster version. It's just like, I think back to that Jafar fight, and I'm like, man, that fight was so good. And it's just like, okay, but you can fight the Heartless version of bad guys. It's like, no, that's not what I want. Frozen World was terrible. You barely interact with the story at all. The times that you do, it's just retelling the story. You spend most of Frozen climbing the mountain, and then climbing the mountain again, and then going through an underground, like, Frozen labyrinth that's not even in the movies at all. And then you just fight a Heartless boss at the end. It's terrible. The Caribbean was pretty cool. I really liked the open world aspect to it, running, like, sailing across the seas and all that fun stuff. The story was good. You still got to interact and change things. The only big gripe that I have is the moment where you have to gather 300 crabs, and so you're just running around the city getting those crabs. But even once you get that done, you're free. You can roam as much as you want. San Tokyo is really cool, set after the end of the movie for Big Hero 6. You can run around the city. You can interact with the Big Hero 6 team. You're fighting a bunch of stuff. It's kind of story adjacent, but then you have the big fight. It looks really cool, and it was a really fun world. This is unforgivable. The 100 Acre Wood is, like, resolved down to 2 minigames? How dare you? How dare you? I love 100 Acre Wood. What are you doing? You can't even explore it. And then everything after that is really good. I wish that I could explore Scala ad Kylum, but now that we've seen the trailer for Remind DLC, we know that's coming there, which just makes me more sad that it wasn't in the base game, but I get it, you know? It's just, it's unfortunate, because I think this is good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad, this is good-ish, this is bad, this is good, this is terrible, and then everything after that is great, and it's just like, it didn't have to be this tearing. It didn't have to be this weird in-between moment where you have to choose between just playing the good stuff and then making it through the bad stuff. It's just unfortunate. I do think these are pretty cool. These classic games that you can play. Deliver each customer's food correctly. Okay? X to grill the hot dogs, add ketchup, or move food to the tray. Press N to put drink or fries back. Alright. That's so loud on my end. She wants, wasn't paying attention to how to get the hot dog. Nope. Aha! That's how. Oh. She doesn't want hers cooked. No, she doesn't want it cooked though. Oh no, she doesn't want it with ketchup on there. I got you. He does. I wonder if those will stay there while I'm cooking them. Or if they burn up eventually. It looks like they burn up eventually. That's unfortunate. Alright, these also go on forever, by the way. Like, they don't stop. So we're gonna stop it, but... No, I don't want to start it over. No! There we go. That's where I'm at with KH3, though. It's just, it's... I'm torn. I'm incredibly, incredibly torn. I finally turned off attractions because they make the combat so easy. But as you can see, I used them a lot in the first playthrough. Yeah, it's just, it's sad because I wanted... It looks beautiful, the music's amazing, the actual story of the game is so incredible, as you have Sora having to come over his own weakness to become a true Keyblade Master. Although, like, what does that distinction mean, right? Who knows? What change does it make? But then you have the other issues that come in of, like, Kyrie's still next to useless. She gets to do nothing. Axel, they spent a lot of time talking about Kyrie and Axel training. Axel doesn't really get to do anything. It all comes down to just, it's Sora fighting the bad guys again. When you have this whole team with you, and they could be super cool, but at the same time, you have those stuff with Terra, and coming back from Terranort, and you have Roxas coming back, and you have all these really, really powerful story moments that, I'll be completely honest, a couple of made me get really emotional. It's just, it makes me go, why did you not put more time into the worlds, though, to make those payoffs hit? Have, over the course of the worlds, because there's this thing that happens where you beat a Disney World, and they go, well, we're not ready yet. Well, we're not ready yet. And then once you beat all that set of Disney Worlds, then they go, hey, we're done now. And it's like, oh, okay, I see. This was just padding then. When you could have instead had the events that happen after you beat those set of Disney Worlds happen slowly over the course of the Disney Worlds, and it would have made it all feel so much better. You also have this underlying theme of there's this box that Maleficent is trying to find, and she finds it at the end of the game. You don't get any payoff on that at all. It's just like, come on, man. You don't see her, you don't hear from her really. She just shows up and goes, well, the box is not here. And then at the end of the game, found the box. It's just, it could have been so much more. And I still think it's really fun to play, and I'm hoping Remind fixes a lot of those problems. It looks like it will. But I have to judge it right now for GotY 2019 based on what's in the game, not what will be in the game. With all that said, though, I have been Trey. This has been the Full Spectrum. And remember to always enjoy the full spectrum that Kingdom Hearts 3 has to offer.